Check. Ooh, there we go. Sorry about that. All right. It is Tuesday, February 17th, 10:44 a.m. New York time, and I'm on the hourly M&Q, and I'm liking this fair value gap that's still hanging out down here for possible bounce. A couple of things I want to look at. I'm going to kind of switch gears instead of might be what I want right there. Switch gears on the streams, and I'm just gonna kind of relax for a bit and try this challenge that ICT kind of threw out there for everybody, which was one micro, $75 a day. Got to cover fees, right? So $78. Yeah, and I just thought, hey, let's see how simple it is for me personally. Everybody's different. If this closes above the candle body above the block that I've highlighted, I'll get out of this position. But overall, my bias today is actually down, just because that's what it looks like on the daily chart. If this was a fair value gap on the hourly chart that hadn't been visited yet, I might have a little more faith in it as a reversal point, but I'm not sure if that's the case. I try not to get sucked into bias. Just because I've been wrong so often, it seems better for me and my style to just trade structure, I guess, price action, order blocks, fair value gaps, other things that I see. So we're going to close this. Now 30 seconds. See if I can't get out at a lower price here in a minute. All right, strike one. Now I need to make $175. Candle body height really solid this morning. Look at all that green. do like the run up to here and a failure. Check out the 15-minute wick up closed. And we got these 3 wicks pushing down, 2 wicks pushing up. This one's not as significant, but this I feel like is a pretty big one. Yeah, it might be backwards on this trade. For me, when I think about the 1 micro challenge, um, I feel like it's going to be, for most of us, it's going to be more difficult. It's going to be more difficult for the average trader to peg a $75 run with 1 micro versus scalping 1 NQ for $75. Like I feel like if I just manage the charts and watch, I could scalp $75 out of 1 MNQ, 10 times easier than I can stretch $75 out of 1 micro. And I get what ICT is saying. I totally get it. Managing risk and percent of portfolio and all of that stuff, it makes 100% sense to me. But it also has a price. For me, mentally, you know, it requires more precision. I guess that's all I'm saying. Versus a quick scalp with a mini. Because truly, if $75 is life changing, and most days in Q, you throw a dart and get $75. I think I've even heard ICT say that. I can get 3. I get 3 handles almost any time of the day. I think you said something like that, right? And it makes sense. But I thought I would try this. If you go back in my videos far enough, when I was recording my trading live, and then later that day I'd go back and add commentary. There was a period of time, I think when I started that, where I was running micros. Kind of a similar situation where I just wanted to have less risk. Um, and you'll see it in the videos. It's just, for my trading style, it's not very consistent at all. And what I find would happen is, since I'm not as precise as maybe you need to be to manage one micro, I would question entries that I got stopped out of, and then they ran. Um, oh, I was early, or oh, I was right, but I was early, or I was right, and I just couldn't survive the stop loss needed. Those kinds of things, and it was having an effect on my mentals, my mental. What does corporate dropout call it? I think it's bank account, mental bank account, or mental allowance. I don't remember, but anyways, uh, mentally it was just a lot tougher for me to trade 1 to 3 micros. In fact, I think I started out wanting to just do pure 1 micro, and after, and you guys will laugh, after only a week, it was bad enough for me mentally that I started bumping up to 2 or 3, and then eventually just came to the realization that I would either need to become a much more precise trader, or just kind of let go of the idea of micros. So that's kind of where I'm at. Most of my videos, if you're just joining because you found the video on X, or the link to the video on X, I've been paper trading. All my videos it's me paper trading, just trying to lay down a history or a track record. Um, and I feel like streaming trades keeps me a little more accountable also. For a couple of years, I was doing pretty regular evals, and I got to the point where I could pass the eval and get a funded account, but couldn't last to get payouts. And after enough of that, I decided I need to just trade paper. Until such point where I feel like I should give it another try. And the ultimate goal is income, real income that I use to pay off my debts. And if my trading becomes reliable enough to eventually even become my primary income, which I think is probably most people's goal who follow ICT and try to learn and implement his PD arrays. These vertical purple bars, which are fairly new, are an indicator I created using Copilot to code it for me. But it's basically the 1 hour macro ICT talks about. It just helps me kind of visually understand when I'm inside that macro period and what the halfway point of the macro is. Okay, here's our moment of truth. I have 14 seconds left in this candle. This candle body closes above my yellow line, which it looks like it might. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna close that. What I'd really like to do is I'd like to see some space created up here before it comes back and tags this yellow line. If it just comes straight down, I mean, we only got 20 seconds left, but like if this candle or the next candle comes straight down, I might be a little more hesitant. Especially if we've got this older first presented fair value gap from February 13. I really don't want to see price come back above this candle body right here. And it's too tight for me to really put a stop in yet, but I'd like to see some displacement equal to this candle. Back through this line, that would be great. If it stalls on this line, I will probably close this position. 30 seconds left. Here comes a real move, probably. Whatever it's going to do. I want to see higher. And we could get, we could get this up here for 10 minutes. Where it's just wick after wick after wick. Yep. So now I'm starting to subscribe to the possibility that this is the low of the day. We've displaced through this level. So here's my challenge with micros. is just going to run away. My challenge with micros is now I've been wrong a few times while trying to get into position. Let's go look at 217. Wrong 121, right $20, wrong 50, 20. So that's already 120, 50s, that's 170 plus 120. I'm down 200 just trying to get $75. And that was because my daily bias was short. And then I stopped out here. Then I went long, moved my stop up. That was our $20 that I made. But when I first started the video, of course, I said this could be support or whatever you want to call it. I don't care what you want to call it. So now I have the hurdle. I have the hurdle of erasing my $200 in losses and making $75. We could clear out this morning's high. This is a lot of first presented fair value gaps stacked up right here. Today's is white. February 13th is this one. And then a really skinny one, which actually may not count anymore because I think ICT mentions he likes them to be 10 handles tall. I doubt that's 10 handles. We can go check it out. This is somebody else's indicator, this first fair value gap. Let's measure. Yeah, 3.25. Concerns would be that price will reverse here at this first fair value gap. So I'd like to see displacement similar to what we saw back here at 1105. We're in the first half of the 1 minute candle, so right now I'm just kind of ignoring this pullback. I like to think the real moves in the 1 minute candle usually happen in the last 30 seconds of the candle. And that the first half is kind of the fake out. I feel like it can't really go much higher on my stop than that. Let's recheck our math real quick. 152, 746. 52, 746 minus 152, 915. We're down 170. So we'll need 245. Just focus on getting back to break even first. Which was, oh, did I already close it? I think it's roughly 175. 2 seconds left in this candle. What I'd like to see is a quick pullback and then push through, and I'm going to move my stop up pretty aggressively. I don't like that. I'm waiting to see if it goes past that midpoint of the previous candle. So now I'm going to move my stop up there. Don't really have any fair value gaps in this leg. Not big ones that I would think price would come back for, but kind of frustrating that getting it wrong a few times cost me as much as it did. Now I'm moving up. We already have one candle body closed slightly above that old first presented fair value gap. I really want to see this push. There we go. Based on this leg, I would assume that it's going to make it all the way back to at least 798. Oh, look at this. We don't want this. Looks like it's getting pushed down pretty good. So I'm moving my stop up because this might be a reversal. And I want to protect that 138 or 157, whatever it is. Okay. 152,921. 152,915. Okay, we are $6 in the green, and now we just need to find our $75. One, two, three, four trades. Oop! What's happening? Check in on our 15-minute. That guy looks like a monster, but it's already been visited once. So for me, not as important, but definitely there. And you've got the fair value gap behind it. Kind of stair-stepping down. I guess you got to look at it like this. Let's see what our Asia London range was. Tongue twister, 268. That's not great. I feel like because price has pushed through all three of these first presented fair value gaps, that it may be a while before we go back through them again, if we even do at all. this could be one of those situations where this is a local high, and I'll see price come down. Whatever. Kind of making the symmetric rebalance. Yeah, let's try it. Especially if this next couple of candles are pretty strong displacement. I mean, really all we need to get is our $78. My thinking here is that price would have pushed through this level here on the first try if the plan, quote unquote, was to move higher for the day. That was a pretty nasty fill earlier. See if we can just shoot for some small bites since we're kind of sandwiched on all these fair value gaps, first presented fair value gaps. So these wicks, it's a lot of wicks pushing price up, even though the candles are down closed. That to me kind of feels like time management. I'm going to go ahead and close this. Get that out of the way. Putting this buy stop up here just in case we get a strong push past these 4 down close candles and through the order block. And a reminder here, I need to just label this. This is a 1 hour possible order block that I've targeted. I don't like that it died right there. I'm just gonna wait. This is the start of our next hourly candle. So in my mind, price has, what do we got left? 40 minutes left to do whatever it wants in this order block before it has to close here and either validate it or invalidate it. And for me, that's just a long time. That's a long time for me to hope I traded it correctly. I do like this though. Little guy right here. But I don't want that. We got 15 seconds left. I want this candle to be a down close candle. Moving this to break even. First close as I can get it anyways. I'd like to see sweep this previous low. Candle body though, not interested in the wicks. We can get it stopped out. Got a few wicks showing up here. Yeah, it's just getting pushed around. Where are we at up here? Profit for the day. 52,893 minus 52,915. Down $22. I think we may have missed that, so I'm just going to go do a market entry. I don't really want to see this candle. I may have to turn executions off for a second so I can see things, grab things. Ten seconds left in this candle. I mean, it's just $24, right? Yeah. I don't want to see this candle make a new high, so I've moved my stop to the high and about to move it to break even. Yep. Yeah. Look at that. You'd have to be scalping the edges, like. Or you'd have to be okay with a $200 stop loss to try and get $75. Like, it's not, for me, that's not okay. Like, I understand giving a trade room to breathe, but every idea should have framework, and framework sets your stop. And if the stop's too big, it's just not the right trade. Turn our executions back on. I'm not sure where we're at. I'm gonna check real quick. 152,883. We started out with 152,915, so we're down $32. So we need $110. What we need, and that's probably too much. Actually, that'd be all right coming down to this block, but you have this over here. I'm just rambling, guys. Ooh. Gonna take this $67 and wait and see what price does at this fair value gap, first presented fair value gap. The trade I would be most interested in this point, which requires patience and waiting, is this down here, going long here. Got some pretty good lag on the order placement in TradingView today. "15 seconds left." Might run into a little pushback right here. going to take this entry based on the idea that price is going to come close this fair value gap before it moves lower. But we might miss it. We're 30 seconds in. Sell stop. Ride this down to the next first presented fair value gap. I pointed this out earlier. Oops. There we go. More or less. We're going to wait. I'm going to wait. I'm going to try to catch this run back down. And move this up to the previous low. And I don't want to see any more candle bodies above this level. Like I want this pullback into the fair value gap to be true. In my normal style of trading, I most likely would have put on a second contract when it closed up this fair value gap. But I'm trying to stay true to the 1 micro philosophy. Yeah, these are all just coin flips. What was that? Down 62. We're down 100 again. And I would imagine this is about where someone would say something like, "Oh, if you didn't get it by now, you just need to close up shop for the day." what did I say? We're down 194, so we need 75. We'll just call it 212. And we'll put our stop, and this will just be our last trade of the day right here. I need to knock out some work here in real life. So I'm going to go on mute, but I'll keep the stream going and come back when I can. And I'll maybe pump up some music for you guys.